Hello, good evening, Karen. How are you?
Hi, teacher. Good evening. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Great, I'm fine as well. Thanks for asking, Karen. So today we're going to start with our set of exercises. We're going to be practicing the skills that we got, and we're going to start with reading articles. But this time, instead of reading, let's say, articles from BBC and CNN, because those are like related to news, we're going to be reading articles from this webpage that is Science Daily. Okay, so we're going to take a look at different scientific articles that are going to be about, I don't know, neurology, about environment, society, economics, technology, in order to learn vocabulary, because that's going to be helpful, not only to improve your vocabulary, but also to be ready for any international test that you might want to take, for example, the TOEFL or any other as well. Okay, and we're going to start with this one. Actually, I'm going to ask you. Here we're going to have two options, Karen. One of them is this one. What makes the human brain different? So we're going to understand why our brain is different to the brain of chimps or orangutans or, well, primates in general. And the other one is related to finance. It says many young adults lack financial literacy and economic stability. All right, so it's related why sometimes young people, right, are not prepared to live as adults because they don't have what they need. Okay, so which one would you like to read, Karen?
Uh, the first one.
Okay, this one, right? All right, good. So let's start, please. Actually, I read it. We're going to skip this part. We're going to go to the introduction. Remember, this is about how and in which way our brain can be different to the primate's brain. So let's start with this introduction, please.
Okay. What makes the human brain distinct from that one all other animals, including even our close primate relatives? In an analysis of cell types in the prefrontal cortex of for primate species, your researchers identified species specific, particularly human specific features they report is August, right? 25 in the journal Science.
Great, perfect, very good. And yes, this was that month, correct? Just the pronunciation is going to be a little bit different, all right? So before going to the pronunciation, Karen, how can you paraphrase this information? What is this short introduction about?
The article talks about first checks about a question about why the human brain is different from the other animals, including monkeys, primated, and also it talks about of some analysis. Well, I don't know the meaning of prefrontal cortex. I think that is something in our brains or in the primates brains, but I don't know. And this.
Very good, great. I think you have the information there and it's correct. Good. We're going to read now and we're going to understand this because it's going to be important to understand then the rest of the article. But let's repeat these words, please, Karen. This is going to be closest. It was good, but you skipped the EST, okay? You have to pronounce it with a lot of emphasis because it's superlative, so it's going to be closest. Let's repeat that one, please.
Closest.
Good. This is going to be more like I, so it's going to be primate. Primate.
Primate.
Good. This is going to be more like species, and this more like species.
The species.
Good. This is more like E, only like features. Features.
Features.
Exactly. Because if you say like you, it sounds like future, right? But it's only E, features. Good. And this, it's the month, but remember when you have AU together, they are O, right? So it's August.
August.
August. Exactly. Good. Very good. And this one, just understand, yes, you know that one. It's a part of the brain, right? And we're going to locate that one just to know and to be sure that everything is going to be clear later on. It's going to be like this, right? So here, you know, the brain is divided mainly in four lobes, right? The frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal, right? And this part, the prefrontal cortex, is like the part that is like here. Okay, it's like the top, like the tip of the brain. So this region of the brain that is inside the frontal, it's going to be the prefrontal cortex. Okay, so here actually it's going to be important. This part of the brain is going to make us different because, as they say, they have what? Identified features, species specific features right in us. So with that, let's go to the next part. But actually, we're going to also do one exercise before going to the next part. Karen, first, I want to know if you have any questions about these words. Let me know, please.
Teacher, I'm not sure about the meaning of the futures. Features.
Features is exactly the same as characteristics. Okay, features is characteristics. That's the synonym. So they only identified characteristics in our prefrontal cortex in the cells that we have that are different to the primates. Okay, and characteristic can be something physical, characteristic can be something dynamic, right? How the neurons work in our brain. Okay, anything that works in a specific way, Karen, it's a characteristic or is a feature. All right.
Okay.
Good. So actually, let's try to use now one word from this paragraph before going to the next part. And it's going to be this one. I know it's easy, but just to be sure. How can you use relatives in one example?
Okay. Eh, in Cochabamba, Santa Cruz. No. Yes. Cochabamba, Santa Cruz, and in the United States, I have many relatives.
Good. Very good. That's correct. Okay, good. There you go. Easy. So let's go to the next part. We're going to read now these two, well, actually two lines and this paragraph, please, Karen.
Okay. And I found that what makes us human may also make us susceptible to neuropsychiatric diseases. For the study, the researchers looked specifically at the dorsal area prefrontal cortex, the APFC, a brain region that is unique to primates and essential for higher order cognition using a single cell RNA sequencing technique. They profiled expression levels of genes in hundreds of thousands of cells collected from the DAPFC of adult humans, chimpanzees, macaque, and marmoset monkeys.
Good. There you go. Thank you very much. Good. So we have, I know, a lot of interesting words and very field specific words. All right. But again, this is to prepare you and for you to be ready to any type of test. Then that always includes like this type of exercise. Now, instead of giving me a summary and before going to those words, all right, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. For example, if I ask you this, imagine this is in your test. What does the acronym, all right, DLPFC stands for? How can you answer that question?
I need to say the 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 uh, the long part of this abbreviation.
Okay, what do you believe? I'm going to tell you the answer then, but what do you believe if this is the question? Listen one more time. It's what does the acronym DLPFC stands for? What do you think that you have to answer to that question? You can follow your instincts, or you can again try to follow in the most logic way possible. What do you say?
Teacher, what do you mean with stand for?
It stands for, I'm going to give you again the answer, but how can you answer? Imagine that you don't know, and imagine that I cannot give you that option, okay, that explanation. How would you answer without knowing the meaning? What is your first like instinct to answer that question?
Is the dorsal and area prefrontal cortex.
Correct. Good. Okay. Good. Very good. Now that's important. All right. It's important to be able to answer even though you don't know all the meaning of the words. Okay. So that's great. But and now I'm going to tell you, acronym is this, right? It's like a sigla. Okay. Acronym. It stands for is like the meaning of that acronym. Okay. So when someone asks you, Karen, what does that acronym stands for? It means what is the meaning of those letters? All right. For example, again, you can have many different acronyms, right? For example, you have USA. That's an acronym, right? And how can you ask a question? Ask the same question, please, Karen, for USA. How can you ask that question?
USA, United States.
Exactly, of America, right? So you can say, you're going to repeat this. You can say USA stands for, okay, stands for is like the meaning of the acronym. USA stands for United States of America. Okay, let's repeat that one, please.
USA stands for United States of America.
Correct, exactly. So it's in the chat. When you say that something stands for, it means that's the meaning of the acronym. Okay, in this case, it's the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Okay, you can divide this in two parts. Dorso, then lateral, then prefrontal cortex. Okay, let's repeat that one, please, Karen. First, this word, dorsolateral.
Dorsolateral.
Lateral. One more time, please.
Dorsolateral.
Lateral, exactly. Very good. Now, these words, please. That's done. This is done, and this is done. This is going to be susceptible, right? Susceptible.
Susceptible.
Good. And this is going to be neuropsychiatric, okay? Neuropsychiatric.
Neuropsychiatric.
Correct, exactly. Very good. So there you go. We have everything there. Now we're going to try to use one or two words, okay? Let me look for at least one of them. And it's going to be, actually, this word is going to be interesting. Susceptible. How can you use susceptible in one example, Gary?
Okay. When you have a cold, you always be susceptible to, I don't know, to noise, maybe.
Good. To what? That word is not clear for me.
To noise.
Okay, to noise. Okay, good. I think it can work in that way because you're talking about susceptibility in terms of your senses, right? Because the noise is going to be too loud for you and it's going to affect you, right? So I think it works also like that. But let's try to use it in this meaning. For example, when you are susceptible to something, it means that it's likely that you are going to do it or you're going to get something. For example, here, right? Because of this element that we have as humans, we are also susceptible to have neuropsychiatric diseases. Okay, we are susceptible to have this. So what is something that makes you susceptible, for example, to do something, Karen, or to get something?
Okay. When you are mm, when you are a health person, you are susceptible to I don't know, win a run, maybe.
Good, very good. Only one thing I want to verify. When you are, what is the adjective before the person? When you are a person, what was that word?
A health person.
Health, good, but
Healthy.
healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
Healthy.
Health.
Exactly, because health is going to be right the noun, healthy is going to be the adjective. Okay, yes, yes. If you are a healthy person, you are susceptible to develop yourself or perform well in some contest, right, or physical perform activities. Okay, good. There you go. That's it on my side, Karen. I want to know if you have any questions before finishing now. Let me know, please.
Yes, teacher, with the word stand for when I use singular, for example, US, I need to say stands with S for or only stand.
It's always going to be actually stands because you're not going to say the number of letters. You're going to say the word acronym. Okay, an acronym means like sigla. So you're going to say this acronym stands for with S.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so it's always going to be with S. Only if it's in a question, it's going to be without S because you have das, right? You have the question with auxiliary, but then you have to use it with S. Okay, it's going to be, and of course, if you're talking about two acronyms, so you say, for example, US and FBI, so two acronyms, then you're going to say stand for. All
Okay.
right, just in that case. Good. There you go. So thanks again, Karen, for being here in the practice for today. I'm going to send the survey. You should be able to see it now. Please answer to those questions, and that's it for now. Again, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next class.
Thank you, teacher. Have a good night too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Bye
teacher.
bye. All right. Now I'll see you there. Lucia, good evening. How are you? Are you okay?
Good evening, Professor. Yes, thank you. And also, I'm so sorry. Yesterday, I couldn't. I couldn't be able to be on classes. Sorry.
Good. Don't worry. Good. The good news is that you are here, you're still working with us, and that's great actually, because you're going to be four, all right? I'm going to be able to organize yourselves in some groups. We're going to be working with some debates and interesting activities. Okay, so it's great news that you're here with us, Lucia. And about yesterday, just be sure, please, that you can watch the class. Just in case, I'm going to send the link. I'm going to do it now, actually.
And also the Pearson, please,
Yes,
if we're
of
going
course.
Okay.
There you go. So the link is in the chat to join Google Classroom, and I'm also going to send the ID to join the new course.
Thank you.
Good. Now you're welcome. We already covered the first lesson, Lucy. It's not a hard lesson. It's causal verbs. But take a look, just in case, please take a look at that presentation, yesterday's presentation, and you're going to let me know if you have any questions. All right. We covered an interesting
All right.
short presentation about very interesting structures that are different to usual conjugation in English that can be confusing, but I gave you those elements. So again, when you watch the class, if you have any questions, you're going to let me know. In the chat, you have the ID. With that ID, you can join Pearson, and you should be able to receive the first set of assignments plus the quiz that is going to start on Friday. Okay, but everything with Unit 1 was already assigned. You're going to let me know, please, if you have access to that information, Lucia.
Okay, and just to ask is, we're going to the same deadlines, right? Friday until Friday 23:59, is the all the activities and the exams until Sunday?
Yes, that's correct. We're going to still follow that logic, please, Lucia. Correct.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
only day that it's going to change, it's going to be different because of the holiday, is the last week. Okay, in the last week, November the 2nd, we have a holiday. So we're not going to have classes that Wednesday. It means that the activities are not going to be for that Friday in the last week, all right? Instead, it's going to be for Monday. So
Oh,
the 4 week activities plus the final exam, instead for Friday or Sunday, both of them are going to be for Monday. That is the last day of classes. All right,
all
that's
right.
the only change. Good. There you
Thank you,
go.
Professor.
No, you're welcome. So do you have any other questions perhaps or
Uh,
concerns before going to the, yeah, tell me.
if the dynamic is the same, I'm relaxed about that, so it's okay.
Yes, yes, actually, as you're going to be 4, again, I'm going to try to work with some extra activities. The dynamic is going to be the same. At least with me, we're going to work with presentations on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? I'm going to try to ask you questions, to have you have some conversations. And during Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to still have some reading exercises and listening exercises. The only thing again that it's going to change is that because you are 4, I'm going to add some debates and other activities to make you interact, all right? And I'm also going to change the sources that I'm using for the articles because I'm not going to use CNN and BBC anymore. Instead, I'm going to work with Science Daily because we're going to be learning very specific vocabulary about many different fields because that's the thing you're going to be facing when you take the TOEFL. All right, so I'm going to be using this set of information instead. But besides that, the logic and the dynamic of working with me, it's going to be, and it's going to follow the same structure as you know. See. All
Okay.
right, good.
Thank you, Professor.
Also, if you have, again, something specific that you want to work with, or you have ideas that you can ask for this type of working, you can let me know. All right.
Thank you.
Good. No, you're welcome. So today we have 2 options to read, Lucia. First, we're going to have this, what makes the human brain different? And the other one is many young adults lack financial literacy, economic stability. Okay, study finds. So which one would you like to work on today?
Maybe the first one?
Okay, there you go. So we're going to skip that part. We have this in mind, what makes the human brain different. The study reveals clues. Let's start with this short introduction, please. Lucy, as always, I'm going to mark it just in case, but this is the first part. Let's start, please.
Okay. What makes the human brain distinct from that of all other animals, including even our closest primate relatives? In an analysis of cell types in the prefrontal cortex of 4 primate species, Yale researchers identified species specific, particularly human-specific features. They report August 25 in the journal Science.
Very good. Now, let's try to understand this introduction. Again, it's very short, but why do you think, again, in what you know, or what is the specific part of the brain that they are going to study for this specific purpose?
Prefrontal cortex.
Okay, good. What do they mean when they say relatives in this introduction?
It's like the pre, the before the species before, like from the same family, but I don't know how to explain.
But for example, when we mention monkeys that are part of our relatives, those are still going to be right living with us in the same period of time and so on. So they can be right species that have very similar characteristics, right? Physically speaking, in terms of genetic and in terms of, let's say, biology and so on. Okay, so good, there you go. But similarities in many types and fields that are going to make us similar. What about the word, this is the last one, features. How can you explain features?
It's like new, like when researchers discover something and like new news or something like that, like new reports.
All right, could be that one, but the main characteristic is not going to be that they are new. For example, if I ask you this, what are the features of right of your cell phone, Lucia?
It's
What
like
can you answer to that question?
it's like like the skills, something like that, but for objects.
Correct. And more than skills, could be skills, but it's going to be more like characteristics, right?
Oh,
Characteristics. So good. So
could be
for example,
positive
your
or negatives.
computer, both can be, yes, positive characteristics, negative characteristics, new characteristics, old characteristics. Okay, so features is not going to be something new. Feature is going to be a characteristic that makes something unique or different or makes it what it is. All right. So, for example, features, if you have features in your brain, Lucia, it means that your brain has specific characteristics that are going to make it the way it is, right? And they found specific features in the humans' brains, right, that make them different from primates' brains. All right. So, just that one. Let's repeat these three words, please, just in case and to practice. How do you read this word one more time?
Relatives? No, or relatives. I don't know.
No, it's okay. Relatives. It's just that the stress was in a different part. But yes, if you have the stress in this A, it's correct. Or sorry, in this E at the beginning. Relatives, right? Relatives. It's correct. What about this one?
Relatives. And teacher, when it's like real, when we want to say that thing is it's like with relation is related, right?
Related. When it's related to something. And the words are similar because they are connected with the same sense, right? To be related to something, it means that you have a connection with that, right? You have a relationship with it. Correct. And relatives also are part of that group of words, right? But this is relative, and the other one is related. And related has the stress in the middle. Okay, so this is relative in the first part, and related is in the middle. Okay, that's the only difference in
Oh.
terms of pronunciation. All right, good. What about this word? How do you pronounce or read this word?
Species?
Good. Very good. This is like sh, right? At the beginning, you said it without the sh, but it's better like that. So species, right? Species, correct? And in this case, what is the stress in species? Can you identify where the stress is?
Uh, um, in the first E?
Okay, good. Species, right? There you go. Very good. And this word one more time. How do you read it?
Futures?
And in the first part, I hear just a little u, like futures. So try to just eliminate that u and make it just one straight e, like features.
Features.
Features, only like one e.
Features.
Correct.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so in this case, where's the stress, Lucia?
Yeah, in the connection EA, I think so.
Great, exactly, because they are going to be pronounced as only one vowel, and it's the first part. Correct, right? Features. There you go. So we're going to use, please, 2 extra minutes with you, Lucia, to read these paragraphs over here. Actually, these 2 lines and this paragraph. Let's do it, please. You read it. I'm just going to give mainly, give you some feedback in terms of pronunciation, and we're going to read it again on Thursday to verify the information. Okay, let's read it, please.
Okay. And they found that what makes us human may also make us susceptible to neuropsychiatric disease. For the study, the researchers looked specifically at the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, a brain region that is unique to primates and essential for higher order cognition. Using a single cell RNA sequencing technique, they profile expression levels of genes in hundreds of thousands of cells collected from the DYPFC of adult humans, chimpanzees, macaque, and marmoset monkeys.
Great. Again, now because of the time, I'm going to focus on the pronunciation mainly. We have a lot of interesting information here, but let's repeat these words, please. This is going to be like I, and this is going to be like you, right? So it's going to be neuropsychiatric. And remember that this is plural, so it's going to be diseases, all right? And the stress is here. And here, neuropsychiatric is here. Okay, so one more time, please. Neuropsychiatric diseases.
Neuropsychiatric diseases.
Good. This one more time. This is going to be more like primates. Primates.
Okay. Primates. Okay.
Good. This is like E, so genes.
Genes.
Good, right? Like genes that you use. It's kind of the same. Okay, genes. This is actually an interesting word, Lucia, because this is one of the words that is always mispronounced in terms of stress. This is going to be adult. The stress is going to be in the second part. Okay, so instead of adult, it's going to be adult.
Adult.
Adult, exactly. For example, if you want to say that as a noun, it's going to be adulthood. Okay, adulthood. That's it. And this one, this is an acronym, right? Can you read this acronym one more time, please?
Teacher, but in this case, when it's an acronym, just like spelling, right?
Yes, it's going to be spelling letter by letter. Correct.
Okay. DIPFC.
Good. Now, but if you analyze, it seems like E, right? But what does this acronym stand for, Lucia?
Or is DL?
Correct, right? Because it stands for dorsolateral, L.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And this is going to be P and C, but they decided to make it in that way because this is the main region of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, and this is just the location, dorsolateral. Okay, that's why this is lowercase letter and this is like capital letter. Okay, so it's going to be DLPFC, right? Just that one. And that's the only thing. Again, we're going to take a look at this to understand all the words and have a conversation about that, Lucia. But about pronunciation and these details to finish today, do you have any questions regarding that?
No, teacher, it's okay. Thank you so much.
Very good. So again, we're going to continue working on Thursday. We're going to take a look at the specific words and we're going to continue reading the article. Today, please, as always, I'm going to ask you to fill out the survey that must be down below, Lucia. Let's do it, please, and let me know when you do it.
All right, teacher. Thank you so much.
Very good. Have a good night. See you tomorrow in class. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Thank you. Bye, teacher. Bye, Michaela.
Thank you, Lucia. Bye-bye. All right. So I see you there. Good evening, Michaela. How are you today?
Hello, teacher. Good evening.
Are you okay? How do you feel?
Oh, I'm fine, teacher. Thank you.
Great. That's great to know. So as I told you with you, actually, I always have options, Michaela, and it's going to actually depends on you. But I want to ask you also something. I know your purposes here in the program, but I want to know if you are thinking of taking a test. Do you want to take a test in the future, Michaela? Perhaps are you here for the TOEFL or any other international test, or just to improve your English skills?
Well, my main object is to improve my English. I want to talk in English, fluent speaking English. But yes, of course, if I have the opportunity to do the test, I would like to take.
Good, very good. I'm asking you that because of the following. Then I'm going to give you some recommendations or write about something. I heard. But for example, today with you, we're going to work with this article. Okay, it says many young adults like financial literacy, economic stability, study finds, because I know it's related to something that you find interesting. All right. But I was asking you also that because to speak English right fluently, also something that you have to do is besides focusing on the field that you are in, it's try to get a lot of information from many different fields because all of them are going to share many words, all of them are going to share many expressions, and you're going to feel more comfortable when using those words. All right. Of course, I can give you, for example, articles related to finance, to economics, and so on, which I think it's very good. But also, if you agree, I'm going to make you read and make you listen to things that are not related to your field, but I'm going to help you with some extra vocabulary. All right?
Okay, okay,
Good.
thank you, teacher. I will like
Very
it.
great. That's great. So we're going to start with this one. Just one thing, remember, if you want to talk about the language, don't say talk because talk mainly relates to a discussion that you have, a topic, right? You can talk about economics, for example, right? But
Okay.
to talk about a language, you have to say speak. Right? And remember, fluent, for example, fluent is going to be like the noun, right? I want to be fluent. But if you're using fluent to describe the action of how you speak, then you're going to say fluently, right? So it's better if you
Fluent.
say, I want to speak English fluently. Correct. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, there you go. No, you're welcome. Let's start with this one, please. This is the headline again. Many young adults like financial literacy, economic stability, study finds. So let's understand that by reading this headline, or sorry, this introduction, please, Michaela.
Okay. Nearly a third of young adults in a recent study were found to be financial precarious because they had poor financial literacy and lacked money management skill and income stability.
Very good. Now, use your own words, please. Before asking for any words, I'm going to tell you all the words. We're going to understand everything together. But before that, use your own words to explain this introduction. How can you explain it in your own words, Michaela?
Well, the article is about like um, financial um, um, financial skill that the young have, um, and how this affect to young people.
Exactly. Good. In other words, do these people have these financial skills or they don't?
They don't, I think.
Good. Right. Yes. According to what we're reading so far, it seems that they don't. Right? It seems that they don't have these skills and perhaps they have some problems because of that. Right? Good. Let's read these words, please. How do you read this word one more time? This one.
Um, Financial.
Financial. Good. Be careful. You read it once like that, but the second time I think you read it like E. Right? But it's also always going to be like I. Right? Financial. Good. This word. How do you read it?
Like it.
In this case, it's only going to be like a, lack,
Lack.
and the ed. How do you add the ed? The base form is
Lack.
lack.
Lack it.
Close. Remember, if you have ed and you don't have a d before the ed, or you don't have a t before the ed, this is only going to be like t. So it's going to be lacked.
Lack.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Lack.
One more time, please. Great. There you go. Enough. What about this one? How do you read this word?
Management.
Close, but the stress is going to be here. Okay, the stress is like the accent. It's going to be management. Management.
Management.
Correct. Exactly.
Management. Okay.
Very good. All right. I'm going to give you elements like that because if the stress changes, the word can be different. Okay, sometimes, or sometimes it's going to be hard to understand when it's part of a long sentence. All right, but good. There you
Okay.
go. So you have financial, lacked, and
Lack.
management.
Management.
Now,
Management.
Again, perhaps we're not going to read a lot, but it's important to understand every word. What is to have literacy? How can you explain the word literacy, Michaela?
Um, it's like, how can I say? Um, I am not sure if the word is textually.
In what way? You can try to explain it in this context. For example, when they say financial literacy, how can you explain that in other words? Just what you understand.
Like a bit of um, finances study, maybe.
Good. I think we are good. Exactly. And in a more general way, you refer to basic knowledge, right? To have literacy, to have financial literacy, is that you have knowledge, right? Basic knowledge, at least and stable knowledge about something, and you understand how it works, right? So if you have literacy in something, it means again that you understand that field at least in a certain way, and you know the basics of that. Okay, so here
Okay.
we're going to understand it in that way. Good. Financial literacy is the ability, the knowledge that you have to understand many financial aspects of your life or life in general, to know what decisions to make, right? What about lack? What is when something lacks? Okay.
Um, it's like um, no control, maybe.
One more time, please. I couldn't hear the second word. Not what?
No control. I am not sure.
Okay, could be close, but the meaning is not going to be exactly related to control. It's going to be more related to possession, something that you
Okay.
have or you don't have. Okay. For
Okay.
example, if I tell you, Michaela, this, I'm going to repeat these words. Okay. If I tell you, Michaela, you lack money management skills, it means that you don't have money management skills. Okay. So when
Okay.
you lack something, it means that you don't have it. So we're going to try to use this, or actually this word in one sentence. How can you use this word in only one sentence, Michaela? Remember that this
Um,
is a verb, and you say that someone lacks something.
maybe I don't have um, lack of the products in warehouse. It's okay.
Okay? It depends, because to lack is again something that you possess. And remember, if you say lack, you're not going to say have, because lack
Okay.
includes the word have. Okay? So you can say that our warehouse is not lacking, okay, or doesn't lack products. Okay, it's better if you use that in an active way.
Okay.
Okay, so the warehouse is not lacking
It's
or
like,
doesn't lack.
can I use lack as alternative word of have?
Many times, yes, it can be an alternative, but only when you want to be very specific, and only when you want to talk about sometimes skills or specific possessions. Okay, so for
Okay.
example, when you are, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, you are sometimes too rude with people, and you use words that are too straightforward for people and they feel offended. Okay, and I can tell you, hey Michaela, I think you are lacking a little bit of touch, okay, or of touch, because you don't recognize that you are offending those people. Okay, so I'm using lack there because it's better to say that than to say you don't have that touch, right? No, it's better to say lack, because I say that you don't have, or it's insufficient. The thing that you have is insufficient. Okay, so lacking
Oh, okay.
something is when you don't have, but also when it's insufficient, the amount that you have. All right, so you can lack
Okay.
money, for example. Okay, so instead of you saying, right, I don't have money, you can say, I think I'm lacking money to do it. Okay, or when you lack time, it means that you don't have the time to do something. Okay, again, so
Okay.
you don't have it or it's insufficient. All right. So
Okay.
the last one more time. What is something that you believe that you lack in any sense?
Um, I I don't lack many skills to speak.
Good, and that's good. And also, one last recommendation, it's good that you use it in negative, but it's going to be even more common to use this word in affirmative ideas. Okay, so what you have is great. You can say, I don't lack anything because I have everything I need to be successful in this area, right? But it's going to be more common again to use lack in affirmative ideas. Just that one. All right, good. There you go. Now, because of the time we're going to be finishing here, we're going to read this one more, please. But I want to know if you have any questions so far, Miguel.
Oh, it's okay, teacher. Thank you.
Good. And this is an interesting word and very important also, right? Precarious. If you are financially precarious, again, it means that you are not good at managing your financial, right, situations, your financial events, because you don't have the knowledge, right? And this is very similar to Spanish, precarious, just that way.
Yeah.
But let's read this to finish, please. Only 22.
Okay. Only oh, only 22% of the 18 to 24 years old in the study sample were deemed to be financially stable, according to lead author Gaurav Sinha, a graduate student in social work at the University of Illinois.
Good, very good. I think because of some problems, I think it's my internet connection. The last part was not clear. Let's read this part one more time, please, Michaela. Only that part.
Okay, a graduate student in social work at the University of Illinois.
Very good. All right, so let's only repeat these words, please. This one is going to be, remember the ED. If you don't have a D or T here, it's only going to be like T. So it's going to be dimmed,
Yes.
dimmed.
Dimmed.
Great. And this is like A, so it's going to be stable.
Stable.
Good, very good. And just to finish, I have one question. What is sample? How can you explain the word sample?
Sample is like it's like oh I am mm, it's like I am not sure about the word in English, but it's like muestra.
Correct. That's the one, right? And you can explain that by using, for example, this, right? You can say it's a specific group of people or number of people, right, that were selected for a specific purpose, or it's only one type of population, right, from a broader group that is used for a specific purpose, right? It can be for a study, for example, and you usually work with samples in research, right? Scientific research, because they are going to help you understand what's happening with something. Okay, good. So there you go. That's sample. And dimmed here, I'm going to tell you that one. It's like considered. Okay, so in other words, they are saying the study sample were considered to be financially stable. Only 22%. The rest of them are not financially stable. And they have problems with understanding how finance works. And because of that, they have problems in general in their lives. Okay, just that one. Again, that's going to be it because of the time. I want to know if you have any questions about everything before finishing now, Michaela.
Oh, it's okay to me, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, good. We're going to continue working on the same article on Thursday, okay, so that we can complement the information. And we're going to try to use some of these words over here to be sure that everything is good and you can apply them also in any other context that you want. All right. Now to finish,
Okay.
please, I don't know, I believe that you already did it, but if not, the survey is down below, Michaela. Open the survey, please, and answer those questions and let me know when you do it, please.
Okay. I did it, teacher.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Have a good night and see
Okay.
you tomorrow.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night. All right, now with you, Nazarena. How are you, Nazarena? How do you feel
Hi,
today?
teacher. Fine, a little sick, but I'm fine. Thank
You're
you.
sick. Oh, that's well, that's bad news. So did you go to the
Yeah.
doctor? Is your throat bugging you, your nose?
No, I'm only take some medicines. It's like a kind of flu.
All right, all right.
So
Well,
yes,
yeah, I'm
thank
sorry to
you.
hear that. I hope you feel better soon, Nazarena.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. No, you're welcome. Let's try to work, please. Again, here you need to participate, but you're going to let me know, right? If it's too hard for you to speak, you're going to let me know, okay?
Okay.
Good. So we have to read to practice this. This is the thing, but try to do it slowly, all right? And don't make a lot of effort, and also try to do it, well, don't do it loudly so that you can speak better. This is going to be the article, please. It's what makes the human brain different. All right, we're going to try to understand again some science behind our brains and our primates' relatives' brains to understand what makes us different. All right, and to do it, we are going to read, please, first this introduction over here, Nazarena.
Okay. What makes the human brain distinct from that of all other animals, including even our closest primate relatives? In an analysis of cell types in the prefrontal 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 cortex of four primate species, Yale researchers identified species specific, particularly human specific features. They report August 25 in the journal Science.
Okay, very good. Now, before going to those words, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. All right. The first question: what is the part of the brain that is being studied in this study in Nazarena?
Um, the prefrontal cortex.
Okay, that's correct. Very good. What do they mean when they say primate relatives? How can you explain that? What are primate relatives?
Um, um, our reactions that we use with the part of our animal brain.
Okay, could be. I think that's an interesting interpretation. Could be in a certain way, but here this is more like literal. For example, what is a primate? You can give me one
Uh,
example of what a primate is.
mm, um, I don't know, teacher, like something, some animal who can reproduce or make life.
Okay, good. In a certain way, right, that can be any animal. So it's correct. But the characteristic of a primate, if you analyze, primates are usually very similar to human beings, right? Why?
Yeah.
Because primates are monkeys, right? Chimpanzees,
Uh-huh.
right? Orangutans. So primates are going to be animals in this case. That's what they say, closest primate relatives. So animals that are similar to human beings because we share some characteristics, right?
Okay.
Physical characteristics in biology, in the genetics, right? In behavior, because you know that, for example, with the, if I'm not wrong, with the chimpanzees, we are like 98% similar, right? So they are
Yeah.
like us. It's only 2% different that they have with us. Okay, so good. Those are going to be primate relatives. All right, so good. That's the most important part for me to understand here to go to the next part. But before that, let's repeat these words, please. Nazarena, this is going to be
Okay.
primate.
Primate.
Good. This is going to be more like species.
Species. Okay.
Good. And
Primate
how,
species.
very good. And this word, how do you read it one more time, but take into account that you have an ed at the end?
Okay. Identified.
Good. Identified, right? Like "id" at the end. Good.
Identified.
Very
Okay.
good. Identified. Good. And if you say actually identified or identified, both are going to be okay. All right. Some of them is going to be more American, and the other one is going to be more like British. Okay. But both of them are correct. Identify and identified. Good. So that's the first part. Let's go to the next one, please. If you have any questions, you can let me know. All
Okay,
right.
teacher, thank you.
Good. Let's go here. This is a short line plus one paragraph, please. Let's read that one now.
Okay. And they found that what makes us human may also makes us susceptible to neuropsychiatric diseases. For the study, the researchers looked specifically at the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the IPFC, a brain region that is unique to primates and essential for higher order cognition. Using a single cell RNA sequencing technique, they profiled expression levels of genes in hundreds of thousands of cells collected from the IPFC of adult humans, chimpanzees, macaque, and marmoset monkeys.
Thank you very much. There you go. Now, again, first, some questions. Why are they studying specifically the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex? Why do you think that they chose to study that part?
Because maybe they can find the level of the genes of their ancestors, so
All
they
right.
can find something interesting there, maybe.
Okay, that's one possibility, and you're right. Just before continuing, remember, if you say can, remember that the next verb always has to be in the base form, so it's going to be find, right? They can find. Good. Or you can say, if you want to say found, because it can be good, but you have to use passive voice. So you can say, many different things can be found, but you have to use can plus be and found. Okay, but if you don't do it, it's going to be only can find. All right, good. Very good. So good, it can be, but if you only use the information from the article, what do we have, or what species possess the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex in Nazarena?
The primates.
Good, and remember this is going to be like I, so primates, the primates.
Primates. Okay,
very good.
primates.
And if you analyze, actually, that's the reason. Because primates and human beings, we are the only ones that we have the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It's unique to primates and, of course, to human beings. And what is the function of the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, Nazarena? Or what is a function that is related to it? It's also in the same part.
Is where is the cognition? Is the part of the cognition? Is the part of the brain about cognition? I don't know.
Correct. Exactly. If you keep reading, all right, if you keep reading, you have this. So the answer is this one, right? It's related to higher order cognition. And that, in other words, if you know, it's your memory, your attention, right? Everything that is related to this higher order cognition, that it's a connection between primates and human beings. Of course, many other animals also have that, but not in this higher order. Okay, so good. There you go.
Mm,
So that's the reason, right? Because here you have important elements that you can analyze to understand why the human brain is different to other animals or other primates' brains, right? So there you
mhm.
go. Now, before that one, let's repeat these words, please, Nazarena. This is going to be more like I, so it's going to be neuropsychiatric, neuropsychiatric.
Neuropsychiatric.
Good. There you go. This one just one more time to reinforce that, please. Primates.
Primates.
Good.
Primates.
This is going to be more like E, so genes.
Genes.
Good. This now this you're going to realize what the mistake is. What is the meaning of these letters, Nazarena?
I don't know, teacher.
If you read
Uh,
the beginning of the article, or sorry, the beginning of the paragraph, here you have the answer.
yeah, okay, yep. Mm, uh, dorsal prefrontal cortex.
Good.
But
Dorsolateral, right?
dorsal
Dorsolateral.
dorsolateral dorsolateral prefrontal cortex.
Good. So this is an acronym, right? And how do you read this?
Uh,
Read it, please, one more time.
dorsolateral prefrontal cortex.
Good. Now only read the acronym,
Uh,
please. The letters.
okay. D D L P F C.
Exactly, right? So it's going to be an L instead of I, right? So instead of
Yeah.
DI, it's going to be DL, right? Good, very good. So it's
DLPFC.
DLPFC. Correct, very good. This word, again, it's going to be read in English. It's only going to be macaque. Okay, macaque. Let's read it that one,
Macaque.
please.
Macaque.
Very good. And this word, this is interesting, Nazarene. Actually, this is one word that is mispronounced a lot. Okay, and many people mispronounce this even when they speak English for 10 years or 20 years. How do you pronounce this word?
Adult, but maybe it's adult. I don't know.
It's good. Many people say this as adult, but that's incorrect. Okay, the way that you said it first is correct. Adult. Okay, adult. The stress has to be in the second part. All right. Exactly.
Adult.
Okay, just that one. And again, it's very common that people say adult, but that's incorrect. Okay, so don't say adult, say adult, adult. There you go. Okay, very good. Now we're going to finish here, but I want to know if you have any questions about any of these words before finishing, Nazanina.
No, teacher. All is clear.
Okay, very good. Thanks for being here, Nazarena, even though you are sick. Thanks for making the effort of being here. And I'm going to ask you, please, to fill out the survey. It's down below. Open that one, please.
Yes,
Good.
I can do it.
Very good.
Perfect. Thank you so much, teacher. Teacher, sorry, I will speak with the coordinator because maybe in some classes I have to connect 15 minutes later or maximum 20. So I will tell to the coordinator. I want to tell you too for whatever thing that happens and I can connect. Please, teacher.
Very good. No, thanks for letting me know. I mean, you're going to be in class just 15 or 20 minutes late. But yes, tell her just so that I can take that into account. But thanks for letting me know. And on my side, Nazarene, there is not a problem about it. I'm going to try to start with the activities after the 15 minutes so that you can participate as well. All right?
Okay, teacher. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a
Good
good night
night.
and see you
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Bye-bye.